Is this the beginning of the end for the ANC, SACP, COSATU tripartite alliance? Is the ANC government still conforming to the ideals of the Freedom Charter? And can the ANC-led mediation efforts stop NUMSA from leaving the alliance? Why has NUMSA been calling for a COSATU Special National Congress? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpotsedu. After having been a loyal affiliate of the COSATU SACP-ANC Tripartite Alliance since 1994, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, as of recent, been at loggerheads with the alliance. The suspension of COSATU General Secretary Mr. Zwelinzima Vavi seems to have compounded the already precarious situation. The recent open objection of the ANC-led mediation efforts by the Metal Workers Union, calling this initiative a farce, seems to have dashed any hope for unity within COSATU. Can the ANC-led tripartite alliance be saved from possible disintegration? My guest today is NUMSA President Andrew Chirwa. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It seems things are not well in the alliance paradise. You agree?
Look, things have not been well for majority of the people who are the poor and the vulnerable for the past 20 years. And if you were to talk about the alliance, is that from where we're sitting, is that the alliance is nothing else but it's a tool or a vehicle that was necessitated by the conditions back there before 1994. Okay. Now, the big question that we must ask is that did those conditions change?
Okay.
And for the better of majority of our people. And that's what must dictate the future of the alliance.
Okay. That's the question that must be answered. Let us also lay the foundation, perhaps, for this program today by just having a look at this insert as well.
The National Union of Mine Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, was formed in 1987 as a merger of 4 different unions. The Metal Workers Union is key affiliate within the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, and its preamble commits members to a united South Africa, free of oppression and economic exploitation. However, tensions within the ANC, SACP and COSATU Tripartite Alliance have been simmering since NUMSA decided in 2013 not to support any political party, including the ANC, in the May 2014 national elections. While NUMSA is accused of poaching members from sisters unions, the Metal Workers Unions view their yet-to-be-decided expulsion as a well-coordinated and political attempt by the ANC-SACP faction to weaken, isolate and destroy the revolutionary Metal Workers Union.
Well, that's also the foundation for today's program, Mr. Chirwa. Now, do you agree that you violated COSATU's constitution?
Look, it depends on which side are you.
Okay, I'm on the side of the truth.
And how you look at that particular question.
Okay.
There are many principles which are enshrined in COSATU constitution and in other affiliates and unions constitution.
Yes.
It's not one. And the question that we're asking today is that the very same founding principles that NUMSA is accused of having violated, does it necessitate any expulsion or suspension of any affiliate?
Okay.
Is it the only principle that COSATU is looking at, or is it the only principle that must be respected by all of us in COSATU?
Yeah,
what about other principles?
Did COSATU say they are expelling you?
I'm sure you'd know that it's a public knowledge by now that there are talks everywhere else where we go. There are some even COSATU affiliates that came out in the open that NUMSA must be expelled from COSATU. Okay. It's not a secret. It's something that is known by everybody else who cares about the unity of the working class in this country.
Fine. Now, expulsion or suspension would come as a result of perhaps charges that would have been brought against NUMSA. Am I correct?
Of course,
All right.
there must be charges first if that should happen.
Right.
And at the moment, there are no charges.
All right.
That are brought against them.
If you were to be charged, for instance, that you broke the rules, do you admit that indeed you violated? Let's talk about one rule.
We shall not admit to that.
Okay.
For one simple that why we cannot admit that we have violated the rule is that the issue in question of poaching and extension of scope in COSATU, it's as old as COSATU itself.
No, but it's
29-year-old.
No, but
if
it's a resolution that you took last year in
Absolutely,
December.
I'm coming to that point.
Yes.
I'm coming to that point.
Yes.
Historically within COSATU,
yes,
you can go back to the 1997, coming 2005, majority of the unions has in actual fact extended or opened their own scopes as we speak. The principle that we talk about is a principle that says one industry, one union.
Yes.
No problem. That's a noble, persuasive principle. Yeah. That as NUMSA, we agree with that principle. But then the next question becomes, is that a reality in COSATU? And our response as NUMSA is that it's a lie. It is not a reality in COSATU. Today, we do have in COSATU, NEHAU, BOF and DINOSA, organizing nurses. Both of these unions are in COSATU. Today, we do have PAUSA, SASAU, NEHAU again, all of them, they are organizing in the public sector. Today, as we're speaking, we've got SATAU, it organizes workers in cleaning, in transport. Those workers as well are organized by other unions, including NUM.
Did you not see the need to consult COSATU on that before you adopted the resolution?
There's no condition to consult COSATU before any decision is taken. All what the process is, any union is independent in COSATU. Therefore, it's got full right to take decisions. So once those decisions are taken, therefore, those decisions shall be elevated to the level of the federation. Now, and that's exactly what we've done after our own special Congress. Are you saying, therefore,
because you have now mentioned that NEHAU and all these other unions and DINOSA are organizing in one sector, do you consider that to be correct?
No, we're not saying it's correct. All what we're saying is that if anybody claims this is a principle that all unions must abide by, it can't be only incorrect when it's done by NUMSA.
Correct. Now, I'm saying to you that given that that is wrong, why would NUMSA continue to do something which is wrong?
No, NUMSA is simply saying a very simple thing. We're bringing a debate in COSATU from our own special Congress that we think that the current organizing method and tools are outdated. COSATU need to relook at its own organizing.
Can you review the resolution yourself?
We don't have to. We only need a Congress of COSATU
to
discuss.
You're saying that we can take from one another. That is fine.
No, we're not saying we can take from one another. We're simply saying that there's a need in COSATU to overhaul the whole strategy of organizing, because production, capital, sectors has transformed with a very serious speed to an extent that our own old method of organizing are not adequate. And that's what we think COSATU need to concentrate on. As we're speaking today, 70% of workers in this country are ununionized.
Yes.
Only 30% is unionized. Therefore, the question is, and this 30% is not only unionized by COSATU, but also other federations with their own union. The question is really, what is the main challenge here? Is the challenge an issue that workers move across? Because it's not even correct to suggest that NUMSA go all around and steal members from other unions. It's not correct. Workers themselves approach unions willingly so with their own interest and intention to join a union. We have been turning workers back for a long period of time. It's not something new. But you can't be busy pushing workers to the street when workers need a home in a form of union.
All right. We're going to talk about the mediation efforts and the call for a special Congress only after the break. This is Question Time. Please don't go away.
You asked and we heard. From Monday, the 6th of October, your world moves from 11 to 12 p.m. to an earlier time, 9 to 10 p.m. And it comes to you live, Monday till Friday. We are SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest is NUMSA President Andrew Chirwa. Now, Andrew, you are launching a party in December. Can you confirm that?
That's a lie. It's not correct.
All right.
In December, what we going to launch is a united front, which is not a political party, which is just an approach to a struggle, as resolved by the December Congress last year.
Okay.
And that's what will be launched. And to us, and we think that it's important that we really clear this confusion, that there's no position or a decision in NUMSA to form a political party.
Okay.
All what the Congress have said in December is that we must explore a possibility of building a movement for socialism in this country. Because as NUMSA, we believe that under capitalism, there's no solution to humanity. Okay. Capitalism is a brutal system that is meant to serve the interest of minority.
Okay.
Therefore, without the fight for socialism, there's no future for majority of our people.
All right.
Now, let me come to United Front, the issue of United Front. To us, is an approach. So we're simply saying that in December, we'll be launching it officially. We have started already. We had a march in March this year, in which we have invited social movement, or we have worked together with social movement, NGOs, progressive organizations who cares about the plight of the poor, who are willing to join the front line to defend the working class and poor people in this country.
Does this include Mr. Gina?
What's include Mr. Gina?
What do you call it? A platform, the United Front. Is he part of it?
We're inviting, in the United Front, we're inviting all those who call themselves progressive.
Is he part of
who
it?
care. I've never seen him anywhere around our own initiative. Anyway, you'd remember that Mr. Gina resigned because one of the things he cited that he does not agree with the political line that NUMSA has taken. So I doubt if he will join the United Front. But if he wishes, he's welcome to join the United Front. If indeed he's got aspiration, he's willing to fight for the cause of the poor in this country.
Now, if you're saying you're looking at an alternative, you're part of the alliance, am I right?
COSATU is part of the alliance.
Well, you are part of COSATU.
We are an affiliate of COSATU.
Okay. Now.
And being an affiliate of COSATU, there's no condition that you must be willing to be a member of an alliance.
Okay.
Or to agree with COSATU to be a member of alliance to be in COSATU. It's not a condition. The condition to join COSATU is on the basis of you being a trade union that is out there to fight for workers.
But do you understand that being part of COSATU means that you are part of an alliance of the ANC?
We understand that very well. And
now,
that is why in our resolution...
why don't you then consider...
That is why in our resolution we have resolved in December to call on COSATU to break with the alliance.
Okay. Now, are you saying, therefore, that the South African Communist Party, which most of your leaders belong to, right, is not championing, it's no longer the vanguard of the working class? Is that what you say?
Look, just before I come to that question, and I'll quickly answer that question, but I do want to also say that, just on the question of alliance, that this alliance was born out of a platform to fight for a status of Africans, to fight against colonialism, to fight against apartheid, so that Africans, and black people in particular, can at least have their own status in their own country, can have integrity, can live a normal life like any other person, and be treated as human beings. Look, our view as NUMSA, which we have declared publicly, and there's no confusion about that, is that we think that at the moment, the SACP, as it is, has no possibility of championing a struggle for socialism It has no possibility of doing that. In fact, it is our own conviction that the SACP has abandoned the struggle for socialism in exchange of the reforms that we see they're defending every day. Instead of mobilizing the working class and the poor into the street, if need be, to fight for socialism in this country as a viable solution to the problem of humanity.
All right. There's a tweet, I think, which we must refer to here. It's a question by one of our viewers. Is this not another personalities clash masqueraded by political ideological differences and theories? That's Shandukani Madima. And I suppose they're talking about this possible split. And Maho Marco Silent says, why the split? Will their political organization survive? The current political landscape, will they join EFF?
Look, we're not championing a split, if I may clarify. Is that we've been invited by people that we must walk out from COSATU, what and what. There can't be a split between COSATU, SACP, and the ANC. These are independent organizations.
Right.
We're not championing for a split in COSATU. We want the unity of workers. But that unity of workers can't just be a unity of nothing or the unity for the sake of friendship. That unity must be about real transformation.
Do you believe or trust the ANC's capacity or ability to even mediate, in the current crisis that faces COSATU?
Look, we have came out and warned a long time ago that the ANC itself, or some in the ANC, are in actual fact role players in this fiasco in COSATU.
Yes.
Therefore, in our view, the ANC had no capacity and still does not have capacity to help restore any unity in COSATU other than unity for its own interest.
I see.
And we're simply saying that for one simple reason, that the ANC is in government. There's no government in the world that wants a strong, united, militant labor federation.
But now
in the
why
world.
are you...
There's no government that would want that.
When did you notice that?
That is going to be... No, we have always knew all along.
No, you wouldn't have known if you were campaigning for the ANC until last year.
No, let's clarify the question
for
of
19 years. Then you were campaigning for an organization which you knew did not have the interest of the majority of the workers.
No.
Yes.
I'm not saying the ANC did not have an interest, does
What
not have
are you
interest.
saying?
I'm saying all along, within this alliance, we have campaigned, we have worked with the ANC, because the ANC have always declared itself as a force of the left.
Yeah.
And through an alliance, we have hoped that we shall transform our own colonial and apartheid system for the betterment of majority.
This year, until December.
For the betterment of majority.
Yes.
Therefore, our struggle continued within an alliance and outside alliance. If you'd remember that in 2009, and I think that's something that we really must take it serious, that at least we are consistent.
Okay.
When we approached Polokwane, NUMSA joined progressive forces that indeed what we have termed at that time the 1996 class project, we have said it must be dislodged because it's nothing else but an agenda by certain grouping in the alliance, in the ANC, that is hell-bent to champion neoliberal agenda in this country.
Okay. I'll give you an opportunity to just finish off the neoliberal agenda. Okay? Only after the break. Let's take a quick break. This is question time. Please don't go away.
Zoom into Africa. This is Nigeria. The president is Mr. Goodluck Jonathan. Nigeria attained independence in 1960. The population is more than 166 million people. One of the major languages spoken is English. Monetary unit is Nigerian Naira.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, NUMSA President Andrew Chirwana. Andrew, the neoliberal agenda, which
Yes,
is...
can I proceed with that?
Yes, please.
Look, we were very clear that after the disbandment, of course, after RDP was thrown out of the window,
Yes.
we joined other progressive forces to say, GAIR is not going to work
Yes.
as our own economic policy in this country.
Yes.
We campaign against that to an extent that we even fight that the 1996 class project, which in our view was the key architect of GAIR, must be dislodged in Polokwane, must be destroyed. Indeed, that happened.
Okay.
But beyond Polokwane, the reality of the matter is that we realize that, in fact, we have used a crocodile to jump a river. In fact, what we used to try to jump a river is even more dangerous, even to us, because we realize that there's no change since Polokwane has happened. In the state of GAIR being abandoned, it is now mutated into a new document which is called the National Development Plan.
Yes.
But in actual fact, the foundation and the basic or the pillars of the National Development Plan is not different from GAIR.
Okay.
And we're not surprised that today, 20 years down the line in our own democratic dispensation, black people are still blacks, unemployment is still over 35%, workers in this country, half of them earn less than 3,000. We're not surprised that the highest earner earns 1,700 times more than an average worker. We're not surprised.
Okay.
Because all the solutions that have been championed throughout the period have no capacity.
All right. Now, your secretary or your general secretary says, and I quote, "A filthy rich black and African tiny middle class, now politically represented by Cyril Ramaphosa, has become very vocal and evident and is now leading the ANC. This parasitic black middle class now believes BEE can and does build a prosperous country." Now, this is the deputy president, not just of the country, but of the ANC, who is also mediating for you not to leave COSATU or not to be expelled. Yet you call him names like that.
Look, there's no insult in that statement. And
No, of course.
we are from the school that says we must call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And we must not mince weight in that. It's a fact that the deputy president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is a billionaire. It's a public knowledge. Everybody knows that. In fact, to an extent that as a result of defense for his own personal interest, workers were killed in Marikana.
Oh, so
because he had now to defend his own interest through BE project, which in fact today has made him a millionaire or billionaire as he is.
So you agree with the
so
EFF?
There's nothing wrong with that statement. That statement is absolutely correct. It's something that everybody knows. And look, we're not jealous. We're not raising this out of jealousy. All what we are saying is that this struggle of freedom and democracy was not meant to benefit the few, in particular the political elite, at the expense of majority of our people in this country.
Do you now agree with the EFF?
When they say what?
When they say Cyril Ramaphosa, as they said, was responsible for the killing of the workers in Marikana.
Look, NUMSA has issued a statement immediately after the killing, and we have condemned the involvement of Cyril Ramaphosa. We have said it is also as a result of his own intervention that the police had to finally slaughter workers as they've slaughtered them. NUMSA has made a clear statement on that.
Okay. So
if you choose to say we support this one or we support this one, that's your choice.
Okay.
But the fact is that NUMSA issued a statement that workers were killed because of the defense of mining capital and the defense of the political elites in a form of PE transcations.
All right. Now, do you believe that he can resolve the crisis within COSATU and its affiliates, in particular NUMSA?
He's the cause of the crisis. How can he really help us to resolve the crisis?
How is
There's no possibility of
how is he
of
the
the
cause of
ANC
the
task
crisis
team.
within COSATU?
Look, our simple analysis of the current 20 years or the current political conjuncture that is confronting all of us in the country,
Yeah.
and the crisis in COSATU, It's not because leaders in COSATU all of a sudden woke up to realize that we don't like this one or we don't like this one. Or all of a sudden we woke up and find ourselves fighting about members. No, this is an expression of a failure of alliance to drive a consistent national democratic revolution in this country. To address class questions, to address race questions, to address gender questions. That failure is what you see in COSATU today as a fight for poaching, when there's no issue about members and people want to camouflage and suggest that NUMSA must be dealt with for members. That's not the issue. The issue is that, as NUMSA we're saying in COSATU, that we can't continue working in this alliance that has no benefit for workers and the poor in this country.
Why don't you deal with some of these
the others? Let me conclude this point. The problem is that when we raise these fundamentals of our bitter 20 years of democracy, there are others who find themselves fit and find it necessary for themselves to stand on the other side and defend the 20 years of neoliberal trajectory and want to suggest that there's a good story to tell, workers' lives have been improved, South Africa is a better place and all those things, as if that's what the issue is about. When the issue is about our failure to really transform our economic base to an extent that we pathways with apartheid economic system that we've inherited. And now, this is one of the fundamentals that Alliance was supposed to tackle.
We're running out of time. I want us to quickly touch on a couple of things here. Are you going to cooperate with the ANC effort?
The ANC has circulated the report.
Yes.
They finished their work that they've done. So we don't see what effort is it that we must continue to cooperate. We have went there. We've also given our side of the story. In actual fact, we told them straight that the problem in COSATU is not COSATU itself. The problem in COSATU is the ANC itself. We're clear about that.
The problem in COSATU, you were divided because there was a lady who was involved with the general secretary. You came out very strongly.
No, that's a smoke screen. That's a smoke screen.
It can't be a smoke screen.
If you remember,
it happened.
If you remember very well, in 2012, September, COSATU, the last National Congress of COSATU, there were those who came there with guns blazing, saying, no, the general secretary of COSATU has been there for long. He must be replaced. But workers refused, and they were defeated.
When you go to Congress, don't you have a period or a time when everybody in leadership steps down?
No, my second statement answers that question.
Yes.
Therefore, they were defeated because they wanted him out and we wanted him in. I'm simply saying there's a reason why they wanted him out. After they failed to get him out, they went into the CC, paralyzed the CC, deal with everybody personally, and ensure that COSATU is paralyzed as it is today. And we're worried that COSATU will never be the same again, as long as it's not in the hands of workers.
Thank you very much. Let me hope that soon I'll have you back here to give us feedback on what has been happening. By the way, the EFF says they are launching a workers' party. Are you joining hands there? It's also about socialism.
That's news to me that there's a workers' party that is being launched.
Okay.
I've not heard about that.
All right, let's leave it there.
We are guided by NUMSA resolutions.
That's fine. That was Question Time for today. A big thank you to my guest. Our email address, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Twitter handle @questiontime24. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.